Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my video. This is part 4 of the prepping series, and today we're going further into prepping more for, for what? We'll see. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to subscribe, thanks, and see you in the next one. Thank you, bye bye. Okay, welcome back. We are now at point 6. So we did a couple of easy ones in the last episode. We're now going to continue with 6. So when we are looking here, we have the risk type is medical and traffic. Point 6 is a minor collision with a second vehicle, bicycle, airbag deployed. Probable cause of the risk: someone was not paying attention, obeying the traffic rules. Okay. Then potential effect or consequence is damage to the vehicle, unable to continue driving. Shock might be superficial wounds from debris and impact. Okay. Risk ranking then: what is the likelihood? It can happen. It can always happen. However well you pay attention yourself, it might be that someone else is drunk driving or not paying attention on their phone, or these days a lot of people obviously are on their phones, sadly. People in traffic have noise cancelling headphones, which in my opinion is incredibly dangerous, and so they might not notice you when you honk your horn or whatever. So so it is possible, and obviously, mainly looking at damage here, your damage can be quite substantial, and therefore your cost can be quite substantial, and therefore the severity is a 3. That together makes an 8. So it is quite a serious thing. So current design controls is: do not get distracted while driving. It sounds so simple, but it is in this time and place quite difficult, because cars also promote connecting your cell phone, for example, then you get messages and movies and other things that and obviously there's a very big difference. I mean, again, when we were driving in America, the roads are sometimes hundreds of miles long, and they're just straight, and there's nothing going on. But for example, in the Netherlands, with bicycles everywhere, it is much different. And here, if you drive 5 minutes straight with no one there, it's either in the middle of the night, or it's Sunday morning at 7 o'clock or something like that, because normally it is quite busy everywhere. And as I said, it's a small country, so there's always something going on, and so it's very different to drive. But for example, when we are in South Africa, the roads are just really poor, and especially the areas where we go to, and you have to pay a lot of attention. Some people might not be able to drive that well, and then the roads are being very bad. So all in all, you have to pay really a lot of attention to what you're doing. Prepping wise, so again, a safety triangle: know the number of emergency services in your garage, have a medical kit in the car, have sunglasses in the car, and optionally have flares. Okay, let's go to point 7. Medical infrastructure is a risk type. Risk number is 7. And description of the potential risk: drinking water that is not safe to drink from the tap. A probable cause of this risk is a maintenance issue or filtration malfunction. I've heard that a lot of hackers are apparently also trying to get access into these types of facilities, so that they can, for example, the sewage water, turn it the other way around, so it's going up the toilet instead of out of the toilet, let's say. Apparently hackers like that type of thing, and apparently they are already in a lot of these systems, and so when they want, they can do something like this, and so it is apparently a real threat in several countries. And obviously, just in general, I mean, for example, in South Africa, with all the corruption, maintenance is very low on the list, because they rather buy a new car than spend it on caring for other people. And yeah, that's a big issue there, but obviously in the Netherlands it is not. In the Netherlands generally you get well in advance the warning, we're going to do maintenance, don't shower from this day, that time, to that day, that time. But yeah, we recently had it that the filtration issue was detected, and we weren't allowed to drink the water. I know of a situation in a company that I know in Austria, for example. They got water delivered, and it was also polluted, and almost half the staff was ill. So yeah, it is an issue. And then the potential risk and effect or consequence is that if you get diarrhea and you have to throw up, that is obviously not nice, but the side effect of that can be potentially dehydration. And if you don't have any other water source or don't have the ability to boil the water, then that might obviously be a serious issue. So the likelihood in the risk ranking, it is a possibility, and the severity, generally speaking, even if the water was bad, you could have bottles of water, or you could boil the water, and so yeah, that is basically the things that you can do there. Okay, so as a current design control, I have followed the news, and prepping wise, have bottles of water, have several options to boil water. So I have canisters. Obviously, if I have electricity, I just have my regular stove, and something like that. And then have a live straw or the tablets to purify water. Environmental note, it has happened a few weeks back, and it took about 1.5 weeks to fix. So in the office we were not allowed to drink water, so the company had to buy bottles of water. So everywhere they put out bottles of water. So it can happen. Then point 8, medical and infrastructure. Power outage. So generally in the Netherlands, if there is a power outage, it is due to digging actions. People dig somewhere and they accidentally hit an electrical cable. But in the Netherlands, with all the electric vehicles charging, with all the people having solar panels on their roof, and with big industries and just in general, like in a lot of countries, the electrical net was designed years and years ago, and now we are doing stuff with the electrical net that it was never designed for, with charging and putting energy back into it, etc., etc. So, and obviously the country has grown. I mean, we have now much more people living in the country, so the consumption of the power is much higher than it was years ago when it was designed. So therefore, it is possible that we are overloading the net. And if you look at South Africa again, for example, there, maintenance is the issue, corruption is the issue. So corruption, the money wasn't used for maintenance, it was taken so that people can buy nice things. And so now you're sitting with a situation that things are just breaking down because no maintenance was done, and that's why they have load shedding, where parts of the city are shut down so that other parts can have power, and they rotate between areas, and then everything's off. Hospitals, traffic lights, everything's off. And so can you imagine going to the grocery store, buying food, and then your refrigerator is off for the next 4 to 6 hours, for example. So it is a thing. And also for all your devices, if it just shuts off and you have no transformer or whatever to have it in a gradual way, then it's a problem. And appliances break all the time because of load shedding in South Africa. Okay, so then a maintenance malfunction, obviously if they try to fix something or to do something and they make a short, for example, it might happen. And then obviously last one, thunderstorm. It might happen during a thunderstorm that the power goes out and you have a blackout. Okay, so potential effect or consequence, as I mentioned before, is we cook on electricity. We're not allowed to cook on gas anymore in the Netherlands, so all new houses are electric. We went over to electric. But yeah, so we cook electric. With no electricity, you cannot cook. So then you have to go to the barbecue or something like that. Unable to see inside the house. Yeah, so it's dark. Obviously, if it gets dark outside, it's dark inside. So candles or flashlights or something like that is required, but we'll get to that. Another consequence is that you're missing information. Your radio is not working, you don't have internet most likely, and your phone might not go off, you might not have an alarm or whatever. Obviously your phone should have some type of a charge, but it might not happen. Okay, so initially, obviously, if there's a big storm coming, it will be in the news, and if there's some digging actions, you should have gotten a letter or whatever, if it's potentially dangerous or whatever. Same goes for maintenance. Overloading of the net, we haven't seen it yet, but it could happen at any time, and then it could be that there's actions there, but then again, it will be communicated. Okay. Flashlights. For prepping wise for this type of situation, have flashlights available, obviously have batteries available, have candles available, have an alternative cooking option like a barbecue or a camping stove, solar panels maybe, a generator, and and also a power bank, obviously. I will add it here. And I personally have two. I have a light that is hand cranked, and I have the radio, the emergency radio, that is hand cranked. Okay, so environmental note. It has happened a few months ago that it took about 4 hours to fix. I wasn't at home, I was at the company I'm working for, and so we have in the company we just couldn't do anything except me, because I'm working on a laptop, so I had batteries, let's say, so I could work for about 3 out of the 4 hours, and the last hour we were just walking around. So solar panels could be a thing. Electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging, that we have a hybrid, so we ideally want to charge it. That is then an issue. Industry, your work might be an issue. So environmental notes is that, especially for us with cooking, it is something to be mindful of, that if there's no electricity, you need to cook in a different way. Okay, I'm seeing the time is already getting quite long, so I'm going to stop, and we're going to do the next one in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.